Bob, we have upgraded from hamsters to guinea pigs. So, just so you know, I got more
Moving a little
horsepower.
faster.
I got
A
more
bigger wheel.
horsepower in there.
1 year ago yesterday, we had oh no, 2 years ago yesterday, I think it was, we had an event at our house. And I think I told Skip about this when it happened. I was, we were at home and one of my children comes down and says, Dad, there's a foot coming out of Brittany, our hamster's butt.
There you go.
That's how we learned that our two female hamsters were not two female hamsters. I was at 13 baby hamsters.
Oh my gosh.
Popped out that day.
Oh, no, thank you.
Oh, they were adorable.
Always got time for that.
So, all right. Today's recording session is all over, and I kind of want some feedback in the chat on this, but the weekly emails that come out from MSPL are often overlooked. Skip wasn't even getting them for some reason.
No, not at all.
And so he's like, what is this madness? And I'm like, I get these every week, and I have for the past, I don't know, like since last February or something. But you should get an email from MSPL every week of a breakdown of where things are in your deal pipeline. And if you don't, you're missing out on a really, really cool feature of MSPL. But it ties into today's topic of, once again, quotes are us. Like getting quotes out to customers and getting them buy-in is the theme of the end of this quarter. So yes, we are at the end of the quarter. Quotes should be being processed. And I know this is a mess, and a lot of people are just like, they're all over the place. You're meeting with clients, you're doing QBRs, or maybe you just haven't been able to get things started yet. But quotes are really important because that's where you get your money. And a lot of you throw out a quote and you'll never hear back from a client, and that's just money gone, right? Not necessarily. It could just be just like your clients are busy and they'll get back to you. But the problem is we're busy, they're busy, and things just get lost. And so it gets left on the table, as Skip would say. But with the deal pipeline, with the project queue, that's kind of what we've been talking about with this architecture audit and a QBR, is you now have the ability to track things if you're using managed services platform. Even if you're not using managed services platform as a integration with ConnectWise or anything like that, you can still use that project queue to stay on top of your business and make sure that when you put a quote out there, it could be a quarter later, it might be a year later, and you revisit that quote, then your client at least has it as a top of mind thing whenever you have a QBR. So how does this link in with the emails? And I was just trying to pull it up. How does this link in with the emails is because the emails will remind you what you've left on the table every Monday. So while you're drinking your cup of coffee in the morning, make it one of your to-do items just to look at that email and think, okay, how much stuff have I left on the table? So I'm going to share my screen here.
And, I think you guys may have heard my stories on it, so I'll spare you on this one. But the gist of it is, typically we have an onboarding process and we go through, and that never works entirely 100%. Right? I don't think realistically there's not an onboarding process that ever will. And in my experience, one of the areas where this will really help out is those clients that we've brought on. We may have done it quite a bit of time in the past, but we've brought them on board and they had something in their environment that we knew needed to be replaced. And we just didn't want to do it right then. I mean, it wasn't a priority during that onboarding cycle for whatever reason. Sometimes it's, we don't want to wear our clients out with too many, additional fees and expenses during that onboarding. Maybe it was something that, we looked at it and went, it's really not that bad. It'll probably be okay for a while, sort of scenario. And I have too many personal experiences of stuff that we took on And then a year, 2, even 3 years later down the road, you know, your operations guys, or maybe just you're going through and you're like, what? This is still here? Why isn't this out? And there's too many times when, clients would be more than happy to pay to get that out. There might be new features, whatever it is. There is a lot that, as Adam has said, I say, gets left on the table. It's just stuff that's there. And the roadmaps, you've heard me talk about these. The roadmaps are a great tool in helping get the table cleared, get these things out of the off the back burner and done and in the bank and out, and finished. And so this is great for the conversation that you're having with your clients. You're looking at this roadmap. You're talking about when and how much, and what it is, and the deliverables, and all that we've talked about on these roadmaps. But that's all still within the context of utilizing the report here. What Adam's going to show is the email that comes out that automates this and lets you see a nice big picture, a regular cadence, a regular snapshot on what you got going on inside the tool. And I saw a lot of potential when I saw that. It is, I think, a very valuable piece that you can blend in here that's going to allow you to manage everything going on. So, all right, I stretched that out for as long as I could, Adam. You've got to bring it up.
I'm trying.
You're missing your cue.
Well, so I'm trying to remember what the title of the email is. I get so many emails from MSPL. For obvious reasons. And now I'm like, okay, what's that called? And because Gmail being the engine it is, I know I forwarded this to you. So I can search for skip emails. So what you have here is, if you look at your proposals, like where in status are you on these projects? So you've got these things that are planned, approved, in progress, completed. Those statuses matter. And so you got to think in terms of, where are these things, and can you just filter them here? You can't filter them here, but you can go over to, where was that, Skip? The all client pipeline. I know where it is on the new portal.
We just see go to clients there at the top level on clients.
I've been working in the new portal too much. And so you can click down here and you can see, like, okay, this is recommended. These are all things that the client has not bought into yet, but you have discussed. So you have some QBR at some point in time, you have gone over these items. And usually, like, the best way to do it is like when you're in there and you're working on it, you've edited it, you've added in your recommendation, why you've recommended, and what you want them to do. And if you do all this, you're going to keep them apprised of it. And that feeds your QBRs. And then when you have another person on your team, some of you have teams out there, like Bob has a team, when you have them working on a project and pitching it, you can be giving them your network engineer's recommendations or your recommendations. And what we can see then is I'm trying to get the details behind this. I'm so used to working in the new portal, Skip. It's broken me. So that you can highlight this and think, okay, it's been a year since I recommended this, but here was the problem. Here's what it solves for you. Are you ready to buy in on this yet? So what we have done actually is, yesterday, Skip and I went through and we started updating the new service templates for HIT. So in the service catalog, you can see in the master templates, for instance, like we go to a standard Wi-Fi environment. Oop, that's the old one, isn't it?
Yep. You're going to have to.
Yes. So it doesn't update for you guys. I have to go back to the academy. So you guys all have the templates as you bought them. So they come from the main portal and they come down to yours and they look brand new. If you want to refresh them, you have to go back into the service template and grab them and apply them to your account. So here, now I can see them. So when you have a quote out there, you want to be able to go into a,
You're still in
still in it.
you got
God
to go to the
bless it.
vendor. Yeah.
Why is there even a service catalog in the vendor account anyways? You come, there we go. Standard Wi-Fi environment. You come down here, and when you edit the deliverables in your project roadmap, you will have the problem description, what's broken in the company, what this solution will do for you, which line of business will it improve, what kind of priority is it? Like, hey, if we don't do this, the entire world's going to go explode, or it's going to stop or make it really hard for people to work from home. And so you answer all these questions so that in a year, whichever your teammates are doing this, have context for why are you wanting to revamp the Wi-Fi environment. Because originally, when we had like the standard Wi-Fi environment, we had like Skip and Danish and I had all built up like this, how does this get delivered? What can we deliver? And so like, you need to revamp all the access points. You need to do a heat map, and that was the deliverables. Instead, now every one of these templates has this in there instead, which forces your engineers or your teammates to enter all these in, so that when you do a quote, the context is never lost. It's always at the top of the mind when you're talking about it. So whether you're in the roadmap, which you saw me hover over like in the roadmaps, or you saw me go over to a quote, when you hover over that item, it's going to pop up. You're, oh yeah, that's why. So you're in the middle of a meeting with a client and you pull up this project that you had recommended at some point in time and said, hey, remember when we talked about this? Remember how it was going to solve your problems from working from home? Well, everybody's working from home now. It's $15,000 to fix this issue. Do you want to go now? I'm trying
You
to
should have
find
that email in your inbox.
What?
You should have that email in your inbox. I'll send it back to you if you want to bring that up.
You send it back to me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like a personal, like, I need to find this in my own inbox now, but I guess for the sake of time. Weekly growth report. All right, flip this over here. All right, so what you have here is the weekly growth report. You should see these in your inbox every Monday. So they get sent out via your time code. So look in your inbox around 8 a.m. and look for weekly growth report. Now, what you see here is in the recommended stage is $9,000 worth of items. That's $9,000 of cash being left on the table. I'm sorry it took so long to get here. But it's $9,000 of cash on the table. Just flat out. How much do you have planned? None. How much is in the approved stage? $91,000. Awesome. So that's the client is paying for that. Or check is on the way. It's in the mail. So what is next? The next is, when are you going to start on this? A lot of you just don't really put things work in progress. It usually goes right from approved to completed. So you track the work inside ConnectWise or Autotask or whatever your PSA is. And that's okay. You know, this isn't as big of a deal. This is more of a workflow item. If you're going to use MSPO as a workflow, that's fine. But then your engineers know to tell you, hey, I am starting this project. And for larger projects, that's a good idea, just so you as a VCIO or as the account manager can say, yeah, we've started that. It's underway. And we, in my little, oh gosh, go away. In my little project pipeline here, I have made it so that you have an ETA date in here.
You've got some statuses selected,
yep.
Adam, if you'll fix those.
Oh, here we go.
On that email, we got a comment in the chat that, you know, you get extemporaneous data in there from demo clients and test stuff and all that.
I know who asked that question.
One thing you can do is you go through and in those demo clients, you can leave, the projects and everything you're experimenting and working with, just take the numbers, just take the dollars out of those that are on the roadmap, and that'll still allow you to work through all your workflows on that. As a side note to that, I do understand the demo client and that test feature, especially when you're doing a PSA integration and stuff. Those are really important. But I would say use your test client a little less and use an actual client a bit more. So here's the great thing about Managed Service Platform. It is not going to push anything out to your clients without you knowing about it. There's never going to be anything, a midnight email that goes out that was half baked that shouldn't have gone to the clients. That's not going to happen with the platform. So you control all that content. So feel free, or I'm encouraging you to do some of your testing or your experiment with some of your clients. A couple of benefits there. One, it provides more context, so you'll get, I think, a better test of that. And two, as soon as you kind of validate that and it works, well, now you have completed work that you can have a conversation with the client about. And so, I mean, it's a faster step to getting those engagements up and rolling. So anyway, that's bonus comments for today. Minimize the test accounts. But if you do have numbers, cost in your test accounts, just pull those off the project roadmap, and then these values here in this weekly email will quickly become much more pertinent to your revenue and your business flow.
Yeah, and you'll hear me say this a lot. It's all about making things simple. Now, some of you out there like to make things complicated like me. And some of you are too busy to write down and manage pipelines. This is fine. The main thing is, though, to keep things simple so that you don't avoid them. So this email here makes it stupid simple. If you are in your deal pipeline here, your project roadmap here, and you manage the deals and what statuses they're in with the clients. So let me move back up to my demo. If you move back over to your clients, and all you have to do is go into your client's project roadmap and manage which projects you have completed, and just mark them down as completed. And now it will reflect. That's it. It's less than a cup of coffee every week to do that. It's just like every Monday or every Friday. I would suggest Fridays because then your Monday email will be accurate. You can kick off your Monday and go, all right, where are we? I have a glimpse of where I am, and like, wait a minute, how come I only have $9,000 in the recommended stage? I can come back here and I can see that I did not recommend these 16 projects. I haven't talked to people. I need to get some QBRs going. I need to talk to my sales team and ask them the status of these projects. Whatever your process is for selling a project, you need to come in and check it out. Why don't these things have statuses on them yet? If it's on the recommended, yay. If it's in planned, yay. We're good. But make sure you have it clear so that you can update these. And then when you get your email, it's simple. What do I need to do this week? Where am I not succeeding? I don't have anything in the plan stage. Plan for me just means that you have a calendar event. I'm going to do this March 15th. You know a date and time that you're going to start this event.
So, and this rolls into a bigger discussion that I've had with many of you guys, and that is taking our proactive portion of our business, which is, managing patches and updates and, disk space and server and firewall logs, all that proactive technical work that we've taken on, and that we are, making things much better. Right? I think, C drives on the server filling up used to create all kinds of problems, right? And then, so we got into
last time that happened.
So we got into a proactive mode, and then we had tools, and then it became much less frequent. And when it did happen, we were like, why is this happening? We should know. We've got all these tools out there. And I think today it is much, hopefully it is, much less common that we have server issues because of some sort of disk space problem, right? Because we've got all the tools in place to stop that before it's an issue. But we haven't focused on our project work as much, I think. And this is one of the great tools that can help you do the same thing, to look down the road, because what you don't want to do is end up in July and, have nothing to do, but August be so busy that you don't have the staff to get all the work done. And so this two things, we're going to be able to put more on our project roadmap. And secondly, we're going to be able to manage those things much more effectively. So, you guys need to be using these project roadmaps. We really need to be, mapping this out. So we've got this part of our business that's just happening all the time. So
Yeah.
I've got an old man story. Okay, I haven't told the old man story yet.
All right, then I got to move on to the next part before we run out of time.
Okay,
Tell your old man story.
Oh, so it used to be, so the days before Amazon, all right, and some of you guys, well, okay, so I'm really old. Maybe you guys won't. Oh no, we used to get all these great catalogs in the mail, all right. And I remember sitting down and flipping through the pages in these catalogs and going, oh, that's cool and that's cool. And then I'd break down at some point and I would put together an order form and I'd send it off. And for small things to big things, again, this was way before eBay or any of this sort of stuff. And who knows where this stuff is coming from? I mean, a long time ago, I really literally had no idea where some of this stuff was coming from. And so it would be weeks before my shipment would show up, and I would have forgotten about it by that point. But I did this. Yeah, I'm a bit compulsive about some of this stuff, work and personal life. I did this so often that it became a constant trickle of stuff. I mean, every week I'd get 1 or 2 packages in from somewhere, from something that I ordered at some time. But the cool part about it, it became consistent. I didn't have these dry spells of no packages, which is like mini Christmas. And then, get 6 packages all at once. It was always a flow of stuff coming in. You can make your projects the same way. You just have this nice, steady flow of projects coming in. Hopefully you're managing it better than I was my shipping and receiving stuff, 30 years ago, but this is a great way to do that. Okay.
Yes. The ebbs and flows of IT will never stop. However, you can make things much worse for yourself. Yeah. You can also tell a mature company or a mature IT department by their ability to cover the no ops. So those of you who remember programming and remember assembly and were forced to learn assembly language like me, you want to fill a no operation cycle with something that you can do anytime. And so you can smooth out your year with a good project roadmap. When you look at what's coming up, say, hey, you know what? That's a $200 item I could do for this company right now. And I can call them and say, hey, I've got a slot open. I can get that access point installed for you this week if you're okay with it, rather than waiting a month out. So fill your schedule with things that are not urgent, but are important, so that when urgent items come up, it's a small swell rather than a large. So to steal the phrase, you need to flatten the curve with your IT projects. So the other thing I wanted to cover this week was I did get some feedback that people don't know when to use which report. Now, to be fair, in the lifespan of Virtual C and MSPL, we have had a lot of reports come out. And it's because people had various needs. And so if you look out there, we've got probably 30 separate reports that you can choose from to solve different problems. Now, if you're a Humanize IT member, you have 4 that you need to be thinking about. And I put those in the email there. So if you look at the Humanize IT reports, you'll see here, I've got several down there. So you got the NIST cybersecurity assessment, the IT service assessment, the strategic QBR, and blah, blah, blah. It keeps going down. So which one are you using? Now, there are four, again, there are four reports that you need to worry about. So when you select a report from here, you can go down and you can see that under HIT, there are a couple of reports. So if you've been with us for a while, you see, again, like all 30 reports. But the only four you need to worry about are prepended with HIT.
Yep.
And that's just what do you need to do? The services report, IT services. The cybersecurity or the infrastructure, IT infrastructure. The cybersecurity, there is a new one out there called cybersecurity overview, so you don't have to do the full assessment.
Yep.
And then finally, the strategic QBR. The higher the number on the end will tell you what the current version is. So anything below 1 is beta. Anything above 1 is like minor changes. If you stay within the major revision, you won't have any like additional modules, or we won't have deleted any of the modules within the report. If you go to a new version like 2.0, that is the latest and greatest. So in HIT right now in 2021, we are at the 2.0 cycle. I have not added the 2.0 to my portal here yet. You can see though that we do have some minor ones here in where Skip has worked on the COVID-19 and the specific uses. But for those of you out there, there are only 4 reports, one for each pillar that you need to worry about. And that's what we'll be covering in these weekly updates. This first quarter, we're just covering the IT infrastructure assessment. Next quarter, we will be discussing the IT services assessment. So you just spend all this quarters just doing this one report on your clients and pairing it with a QBR. So if you have these two added to your portal by April 1st to all your clients, you are on schedule. Next quarter, we will be adding the IT services assessment to all clients and talking through what that means. So you can ignore the rest of these unless you have a specific use for one of these. You should be using the 1.0s and 2.0s under HIT. That's it. The rest of this is legacy. You just happen to get access to them. They all have specific uses and they all have a lot of thought given to them. But for HIT members, these are your quick and easy money makers. These 4 reports. You have 3 main reports, one for each of the services, risk, and architecture. And you have 1 report to deliver strategy. The 1 report to deliver strategy is the only one you need to track the roadmaps we're talking about, to track the projects, and to sell to your clients. It is simplified and easy to use. The 2.0 reports are out there and ready to use. You just have to add them from your solution set when you're ready for them. If you have any questions on that, you can always reach us out. But anyways, I just wanted to answer that question of what do you need to do? And the answer is 4 reports. Ignore the rest. If you're confused by the rest, that's because you weren't here when we created them, or you are not using them as a baseline for another report. The people who use those reports understand why they have them and they are building them. But the HIT reports are the only ones you need. All right. I said it 4 times. That's all I need.
There we go.
But that was what we wanted to do. Maybe I should just start putting these in as a section in the weekly email, is a link to the template so that people can just click on them. We made the HIT simple because you guys are busy. We made it simple so that you guys could track your project, stop leaving money on the table, and have better conversations. So you can stop having these highly technical, really complex conversations, and you can stick to a very simple thing. If you follow what we've been saying so far, that email you get every Monday will make a lot of sense. When you come in and have a QBR with a client, you may walk in completely unprepared. You might roll out of your bed and just drive straight to your client and open up your strategic QBR, and it will be accurate. It will be ready for a conversation with no prep work if you just continually follow the cadence we're setting out in front of you. It requires no work. And if you're on a team, it requires even less. So people like Bob, who've got like a million people working for him, can have them doing all the work in the background, and he just walks in looking like a hero in every one of his meetings because the process is working on the back end and his QBRs are populated on the front end. He looks at his project roadmap, bam, it looks good. He looks at his Monday email, how many things are in queue, how many things are ready to go, done. You have one cup of coffee, you can be clicking and seeing exactly where you are and who you need to yell at and get on the ball. That's the dream. If you're a one-man shop, same thing. All this work you did last week, or you finished up all your projects at the end of on Friday, you just checked, hey, this is completed, this is completed. I got this approved by the client. We're going to run it next week. Get all this done. On Monday, come in with a cup of coffee. You know exactly how much money's in queue this week and what you need to chase. This is the simplicity we want. It should be cup of coffee. What is it? Somebody once called it to me, donut administration. You should be able to hold a donut in your hand and your mouse in the other, and it should work. You should be able to do everything you need to do. Donut IT workers. I don't know if you've ever heard that term, Skip.
Nope, that one's new to me.
Because it used to be you had to type and scroll around, do everything, because everything was keyboard based, like Linux. But if you have everything set up as scripts, you can have one mouse click, click your single pane of glass.
Yeah.
And you got your donut in the other hand. You're just chewing around, clicking your mouse.
I like that. I want to be a donut.
Because everything is automated. Everything is already set up. You did all the hard work. So you can have your Monday morning drinking your cup of coffee, eating your donut, and clicking through your scripts and clicking through your reports, knowing that everything's working well.
I like donuts. I like donuts.
Oh. So that's about all there is this week. I wanted to keep it simple. We are coming up on the end. Next week is going to be a focus on it's going to be the last week of the quarter. So we're going to focus on how each one of the templates falls into the bigger picture. So we'll do this at the end of every quarter where we're going to say, this is how the bigger picture comes together. And by the end of the year, we'll have gone over all 4 reports, and this will all be old hat to you. It should be falling off a log. That's how you know it's going to be scalable. That's how you know you're doing the right thing. It's because it's easy. It's so stupid simple. Anybody could do it. A caveman could do it. A Skip could do it. You know, you want to aim for that low hanging fruit, because if you make it complex, if it takes you 3 hours to explain it to each customer, they're going to forget.
That's it.
And that's all I have to say about that. So thank everyone for coming. Reach out, coaching@virtualc.biz. There's a lot of exciting things happening at MSPL and Virtual C right now.